Last story of the day came in Call of Duty. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this? Call of Duty? Have you heard about a game called Call of Duty?
That's that small indie game, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's a small indie game.
Yep.
It's about a guy who makes phone calls for people that are doing their duty. What a stupid fucking joke.
What?
Call of Duty apparently is getting a board game.
Hold on a second. Put a pin in that.
Me.
A video game about a man whose sole job is to make phone calls for people while they're taking a shit.
Ooh, while they're having a duty, sure.
So like it's kind of like Overcooked, but you're running from bathroom stall to bathroom stall to grab people's cell phones to make calls to tell their loved ones they're not going to make it to their cousin's wedding because they're just having real bad diarrhea.
Just shitting themselves, sure.
Yeah.
There is a market there. The market might only be one person, but there's a market there.
Well, there's a market for a lot of things we found out today.
So. No, we sure fucking
did. People out there are going to wonder.
Oh, they're going to wonder.
Mystery alive.
Maybe we'll reveal it by the end of the episode, or maybe you're just going to have to text me and find out. But this story I'm pulling again from VGC, but this time it's Tom Ivan. An official Call of Duty board game has been announced. According to the reveal trailer, which is viewable below. It's not viewable below because this is not an article. It's coming soon with a Kickstarter campaign set to launch in late summer 2023. The project is a collaboration between Call of Duty owner Activision and board game publisher Arcane Wonders. Sidebar, excuse me, Activision, you need a fucking Kickstarter for this?
That's what I was wondering right off the bat. Like, go fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. Quote, get ready for the ultimate Call of Duty tabletop experience, reads the blurb accompanying the reveal trailer. We're excited to announce the upcoming release of Call of Duty, the board game, a thrilling new strategy game based on the popular video game franchise, with intense combat, tactical planning, and stunning artwork featuring miniatures of iconic soldiers and weapons from the series. This game is sure to satisfy any Call of Duty fan. Arcane Wonders told Polygon that the game will be set in the era of 2019's Call of Duty Modern Warfare and feature weapons and maps that will be familiar to fans of the series. The two-player base game should cost about $50, blah, 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 blah. The way that the game is going to work, supposedly, is players simultaneously plan out their moves secretly and then resolve those at the same time out on the map. Line of sight is easily determined by colored lines on the map. And when you do have your eyes on your opponent, combat happens. It's all about outsmarting and outmaneuvering your opponent to get in the best possible position to win in a fight, end quote. Here's the thing. I don't fucking care about any of that, actually, because it sounds like garbage. It sounds like a terrible board game. What I want to know, Cayman, what video games could be cool board games? And if we're feeling spicy, what kind of a board game do you think it would be? I have a couple ideas, and this is very spur of the moment, but chat, if you have any, feel free to send them out and I'll read them as well. But Cayman, I prepped you with this yesterday because I thought it might need a little bit of time to really come up with some answers. But what do you got for me? What video game do you want to see as a board game?
Okay, so this is going to be a wild one.
Okay.
All right. I was going to do a Bulletstorm joke right now, but it didn't end up working out when I wrote it out. Of course. Because I did like you did, and I came up with a video game, but also a card game to go with the video game.
Let's go.
Okay. Does anyone remember the old Rockstar game, Manhunt?
I do remember Manhunt.
Okay, so for the audience, if you're uninitiated with what Manhunt is, because it is a weird, obscure Rockstar game, you probably, if you do know about it, you probably actually didn't play the game because it was really actually difficult to get your hands on, because it's one of the first ever games to get an A rating, which doesn't sound like a real rating because only 10 games have ever gotten it. An A is an adults only rating. And Manhunt, there's a reason why. Manhunt essentially puts you in the shoes of a character called James Earl Cash. And he was on death row, about to get executed. He wakes up in this desolate Detroit style city that's run down, and it's full of gangs. And the thing is he has essentially been saved from death row and then has to murder his way through these gang infested areas for a snuff film director. This game it could never be made again. Just no way, shape, or form. The reason that it got an A rating, I don't know if Manhunt, the first one, did. I know Manhunt 2 did, which funnily enough was actually released on the Wii. So that's something to think about.
For all
Either
the
way,
12-year-olds.
part of the big reason that it got such a crazy high review. Also, Brian Cox voiced the villain in the game. Did you know that?
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, Logan Roy from Secession voiced the fucking dude who's getting his rocks off watching people die.
Our favorite Scotsman from Dundee. How about that?
So my game, or let me back up. The reason why it got an A rating is because you could literally murder people with things like severed heads.
Wow. Okay.
In the second game, Manhunt 2, they had to actually cut out the part that there was multiple kills, executions, where you could choke a person to death with a dildo.
Wow.
Patrick. Yeah. This is, I think, the first time we've said dildo since like we started this show too. That's what we were known for a while.
Sure. Yeah. I remember the very first episode. Someone thought it was going to be a dildo podcast. That was the first text we ever got about the podcast.
Still think we should do that, but so either way, here's my game. It's Cards Against Humanity style game where the dealer plays a card that tells you essentially who your victim is and where your victim's located. And then you have to play a card to that is whatever murder weapon that you have at your disposal. So it could be anything. Could be a baseball bat with nails in it. Could be just a simple handgun. Here's the thing. Who cares about a handgun when you can kill a person with a dildo?
Yeah, so there you go.
What I'm saying is like,
is there a storytelling aspect to this?
Absolutely.
Like, to where you have to like, okay. So
I
was wondering,
I guess you could if we want.
Like you can you can paint the scene about how you're going to do this murder with a dildo.
Yes, I think I like that idea that you do have to paint the scene with it. So it'd be like, hey, here comes a big old fat boy.
Yeah.
Big old chubby wubby boy.
Yeah.
And you get to beat him to death with like a baseball bat, but it doesn't have nails in it. It's just covered in chocolate. Chocolate covered base. Like, I don't know, man. Who knows? Your imagination runs wild here. But basically, you just get like a bunch of weird things, and then you have to figure out the funniest way to kill them.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm fucked up in the head, but like, I'd play it.
You would play that game.
I would play it.
Yeah.
Don't act like you wouldn't. Don't act like if I busted that out at a party one night, you would be like, I'm sitting this out. No, you wouldn't. You'd play.
You certainly would play that game. Let's go a little a little more family friendly with my first entry.
Boring,
sure. What about a Sims board game? And you might be like, Patrick, how would you make a Sims board game? Because so much of the game is building a house. It's life meets Legos, dog. Like you could fucking make so much money with a Sims board game where you're dealing, you're pulling the cards. You pulled the military job card. So, it sucks, but you're going to make a lot of money doing it. And maybe they're like house rules for cheat codes for money and shit like that. But then you get to actually physically build your house in the space with Legos. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
That is pretty fucking cool.
And like they could sell fucking board game DLC out the ass. You could sell fucking like Victorian add-on packs, fucking modern add-on packs, fucking deco bullshit. Like you could sell so many.
Pack,
I mean, fucking Steve Sims, give me a call because I can make you a lot of money. I can make you a lot of fucking money, brother.
Oh, brother. All right. Okay. Let me throw you this one. This one's off the top of the dome. I have a second one written down.
Great.
I thought about something great. Surgeon Simulator.
Okay.
But it's Operation. Here's the thing, though. The whole thing with Surgeon Simulator is that the controls are like a Goat Simulator or any of those goofy simulators where everything's just fucking chaos. So here's the thing. To do it, you have to wear like those beer goggles where you can like barely see, and then like Mickey Mouse gloves. Yes. And then you're trying to like pull organs out. It's like Operation, but you can't use your hands or see very well. So you're just like fucking goofing around. And also, we'll just throw booze in there for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it'd just be funny if you were drunk.
It'd be a great drinking game. Yeah. Honestly, Operation is probably a great drinking game. Actually,
it's honestly, I think a lot of my anxiety as an adult comes from playing too much Operation as a kid.
Yeah, that tracks.
Fear of the zip. Terrifying. Still terrifying to say. I don't think I could play Operation right now.
I don't think you could ever perform surgery today because of that.
Well, I'm always drunk, so probably not.
Another one that I thought of, and I think this one needs some finessing, but again, I'm selling on name alone, essentially. Because picture. Let me paint the scene for you for this game.
Paint the scene, baby.
You're a child here. Let's say you're 12. You were with your mom. You just went grocery shopping. You did some other chores, and you behaved really well. So we're going to go to Target, and you can pick out a toy.
Okay.
You're walking down the toy aisle, and what's always next to the toy aisle in Target? The board game aisle. What board game is there? Fortnite. You might say, how could Fortnite be a board game? As he takes his headphones out. No, you got to put them back. I got to sell this to you. So you might think Fortnite is a board game. This is bullshit. But again, it goes back to the point of you could monetize fucking getting every character as little add-ons. But I think what could make it interesting, it'd have to be, you have to have a lot of people in the room to play this battle royale, but it could be like a dice rolling kind of game. Like the way that you beat the person and stay alive in this battle royale is with an old D&D style dice roll. Maybe you got to roll for initiative. Maybe you got to fucking depending on, like, if you have an SMG, you have a certain dice. If you have fucking the Mandalorian's rifle, you have a certain dice. Or if a gremlin is your gun, you have a certain dice. Like it can lean into that crazy nature of Fortnite while making a lot of fucking money, brother. Just saying, it could work.
I love it. My actual one that I wrote down, the Manhunt one I wrote down, the Surgeon Simulator I didn't, but that was a great idea. Off the top
it's
of
a
my
great,
head,
it's a great idea.
Just want to say that. So my last idea that I had, Patrick, we recently got in a game that we hadn't played because we were like, oh, the rules seem too difficult and no one ever wants to learn new rules. They just want something easy. Well, then we played it. And we're like, oh, actually, this game is super easy to play. So basically what happens is you can have up to 4 survivors and you have 1 killer. So you have 5 people playing.
Okay.
What the survivors have to do is they have to draw cards off the deck. Those cards can be anything. They can be like, you can collect certain ones that'll basically, so the game's called Don't Get Stabbed. So basically you can pull a card and the card would be
you named it. I love that.
No. That's the name of the card game.
Oh, that's
like I'm saying. I'm saying I got it off the Amazon back of the truck deal for like $5. Totally worth the purchase. But either way, you pull it off. Like one of them would be something like, it could be something along the lines of like, go have sex in the woods. Or it would be, and so if you collect 3 or 4 of those cards, 3 of those cards, if you get 3 of them, then you can play them to pull from another deck. That other deck gives you the ability to spell out the word car. If you can spell out car, the survivors win. Now, the killer, on the other hand, also gets cards. And those cards can cause other things to happen. In the deck, there's also cards that are called stab cards. If you get 3 stab cards, you're dead. You're out of the game. You can't be revived, nothing.
Okay.
So it's basically like a risk reward. You're drawing cards. The killer can play cards that can essentially cause you to get stabbed early. They can cause you to lose one of your letters of car. They can add stabs into the deck to get it to where you can get stabbed like quick. And then the other people, they can pull cards that are action cards as well. They could be like, if I get stabbed, I can use a healing aid, a first aid kit, either way, something like that. Okay. Hear me out.
I'm hearing.
We literally don't have to change anything about this game. Dead by Daylight.
Just branded as Dead by Daylight.
Just fucking brand it. And this is the thing. All you have to do is complete 4 generators.
There you go. Get those genies, brother.
And then you get the hooks. You get the hooks. Be like, nope, I've got a first aid kit. I can remove one of my hooks. I've literally just made the Dead by Daylight card game. And it is a complete rip-off of a real game.
Is there a way that I can?
Yeah. It's
maybe.
Cheating. It's cheating.
Is there a way that I can throw rocks in this card game?
If your name's Bennett, there is a particular card that you can get.
Okay. But only if your name is Bennett.
Yeah, and all you do is pull rocks at that point. You can't do anything else.
I could fuck with this game.
Honestly, you could. There's ways that you could do things to like make it a little bit different, where like the action cards could be like a survivor's perk. Or it could be like, so one could be like a pallet slam is the action card for the survivor, but the killers could be something like, whatever, the Shinrikyo in like rage up. So if like you rage up, you can dig through the card and pull and shuffle in a bunch of stabs or some shit. So like I'm like in my head, I'm like, there's ways that you could alter the way the action cards work. And if you alter instead of it being car, it's 4 generators, stuff like that. Like you could alter it. You literally just made the Dead by Daylight card game.
Yeah, you spell out dead instead of car.
I'm just saying.
We're just saying.
Developers, I don't know if this is copyright infringement, but hit me up, bro.
Hit us up. We got one from the chat. Terry, Marvel Snap, but as a co-op dungeon crawler thing. So I don't know if y'all know the game Munchkin, but it's essentially that, but with Marvel Snap. I don't know Munchkin, but I did a quick little Google search and I see what you're putting down. And I could see turning Marvel Snap into this game and making a lot of fucking money, which makes me actually think of another thing.
What's your problem, Patrick? All you're doing right now is trying to figure out ways to monetize board games.
Do I not live in a capitalist society? Is this not the whole point is to make fucking money?
I mean, we're making money, brother.
But you're right. You're pointing out that I'm being
you're being a Mr. Monopoly right now.
I'm being a Mr. Monops,
which I guess is definitely on brand for this conversation.
Something that I do think needs to happen, Cayman, is taking some board games, quote unquote, in video games and make them real. I'm talking Gwent. I'm talking, I don't remember what it's called, but the dice game in Assassin's Creed Valhalla fucking ripped. Like we need to turn those games into real games. I did just see recently, who's the developer that we really love? Devolver turned Inscription. I believe it's Devolver that did this at their store. You can buy an Inscription card game, physical card game. Oh
shit, that's cool.
Which I'm considering doing, but it's like I would probably never play it. But
do you know there is one game I've actually taken and made in real life in the real world from a video game?
What?
It's the game in Valhalla where you and your opponent stand around a barrel full of mead. And you just got to drink until your opponent falls over.
Yeah.
I do that almost every weekend.
There you go.
A lot of times it's just me. Solo game.
Proof of concept, baby. Let us know, if this, listening to this conversation, if it's inspired you to come up with an idea that's going to make you a lot of fucking money. Write in, mail at spotlightgames.net, or you can DM us on Twitter at SpotGamesPod, or on Instagram and TikTok at SpotlightGamesPod. Let us know your ideas. Maybe we'll read a couple on the show next week if we get any. Cayman, let's wrap up the show with this week's game release calendar update. So there weren't many new announcements that were worthy. So instead, what I'm doing is using this as a reminder or hey, if you didn't know this is coming out like tomorrow or now, check it out. So this Friday, so tomorrow as of recording, Star Wars Jedi Survivor comes out, which, by the way, if you already are anticipating it like I am and planning on playing it, spoilers have entered the room. Some fucker got the game early from a mom and pop shop somewhere in the States and played it and is just putting all the spoilers all over the internet because they're fucking miserable. So beware. Also, next week on May 2nd, Redfall hits Game Pass and PC. So check that out if you want to kill some vampires in the city of Redfall.
Patrick and I will be playing that game together.
Yes.
So if you have an Xbox and you want to join Patrick and I live, we won't be streaming it because we're too dumb to know how to do that. But Patrick and I will be playing. So if you're in the audience and you want to play with Patrick and I, shoot us a DM. Come and join
let us know.
That's literally all you have to say is, hey, can I play with you? Just like, hey, can I be on your show?
Yeah, let us know. Any of those things.
Yeah, bar's low.
And then today, as of recording, so a couple days ago, as of release on podcast services, Cult of the Lamb has a new expansion out, Relics of the Old Faith. Relics are an entirely new combat system for the Lamb to collect and participate in combat. They grant new powerful abilities for your crusade, and the free update also includes some new missions, follower types, story, and more. And hey, maybe the game isn't still a buggy fucking mess on Switch at this point.
Patrick, I forgot to tell you something about the Halo review. Do you know how many times the game has just completely stopped and it takes like 30 seconds for the game to catch up to itself? Every hour.
Stupid.
Oh, terrible. Sorry,
Terrible.
I just had to be angry one more time.
No, of course. And then finally, Dead Island 2 is out now. We mentioned a little earlier, but in case you missed that, it's selling super well and people seem to be vibing with it. It's getting like solid 7s and 8s around the internet. So people are happy with it. It's Dead Island is the report. So if that's a game that that you maybe just forgot has come out or you missed the date, it is out now if you're interested in that. And then Terry also mentioned in the chat, the Zelda OLED Switch drops this Friday too, which he definitely didn't pre-order one, and I definitely didn't either, Terry. So we'll talk about that next week. I forgot that was coming out Friday, so I need to look at the old credit card statement when that pulls. But that's our show. Thank you for coming along on the ride, and as I mentioned earlier, any new listeners or viewers, appreciate you and your time. Let us know what you think. Mail at spotlightgames.net if you want to send us an email, or as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Spot Games Pod on Twitter, Spotlight Games Pod on TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, all the places. Cayman, where can they find you? Where can they find Save Trash Cinema? Where can they find anything else you want them to find?
That's a good question. You can find me on Twitter at the Dumpster Boy, or if you want to check out Save Trash Cinema, you can find Save Trash Cinema at Save Trash Cinema on all socials.
Boom. Shakalak.
Boom.
And hey, that's it.
Man, you know what, Patrick?
What?
Dude's penis is so weird looking.
Dude. Okay, so if you stayed this long, if you didn't turn it off and go to your other podcasts, I'm on my Steam Deck today. I'm just scrolling through, seeing what's out, what's new. There is a whole section of games on Steam that maybe this is not news to you, but it's news to me. And I'm whispering so that Twitch doesn't hear this. Fucking just porn video games.
Yeah,
it's like fucking sex simulators. This game called something Desire. I click on the trailer because I'm like, it's this woman with just very large breasts. I'm like, what is this game? It is exactly what it says it is, and it's a game where you basically just like get to have sex with women almost exclusively. And I somehow came across a review for it. And the guy is like, the only bad thing I have to say about this, the guy's penis is really weird looking. So what do Cayman and I do? We have to go look. We had to go look. And boy, was that a weird looking tick.
Yeah, dude, that's like that man's penis died like 3 years ago.
Man, it was bad.
Why?
And look, I'm not here to kink shame by any means. If these virtual fucking sex simulators are your thing, as long as you're not hurting anybody, go for it. But like, brother,
I don't know, man. Just maybe not that game.
If you need to talk, call me. DM me, I'll give you.
No, don't call me.
Yeah, don't call me.
At this point, you need a therapist.
But man, I was like, I can't believe, and there are so many of these games.
Why?
In the like suggested section, it was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm like, man, there's some weird shit out there. And I guess PlayStation and Xbox and Switch have rules that Steam doesn't have, because you cannot get Dream Desire or whatever the fuck this game was called on those consoles.
Dude, Steam is like the rule 34. If you can think of it, there's porn of it.
Apparently.
And that's what Steam is right now. You've unlocked the dark version of Steam. Gabe Newell's out there feeling he's judging all of your search history right now, dude.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
Well, hey, if you're still listening and you're not Googling it right now, I'll tell you, you're not going to find what you're looking for on YouTube uncensored. You got to go to Pornhub for this.
You got to go to the website.
Man, I don't do it though. Please don't do it.
Don't do it. It's called Dreams of Desires or Desires of Dreams. Don't do it though.
Definitely don't do
it. Definitely don't do it.
Definitive edition. Bye now.